Hey YouTube, Kusan here with some Union Arena gameplay with some added commentary. Gonna give my hand a shot at it and kind of see how it goes. The plan is to start bringing you all a finals matchup every single week with some added commentary to try and add some insights and kind of see how that goes. I play at Olympus in South Texas, and pretty much there our local scene is generally about 16 to 24 players, so it's pretty big. In today's finals, it was me piloting Purple Song on the left. I was lucky enough to make it against Edgar with his red Kenshin Sanosuke deck. Generally know what the standard red Kenshin deck does, but not this kind of hybrid build, but he always does fairly well with it. Starting off, he drops his 0 cost, and then whenever it moves over to my turn, I drop the 0 Yuna with the Asuna as well. Ditching the Kirito, which you of course always want in the trash. On his next turn, he drops 2 additional Sanosuke's. Normally in the red Kenshin matchup, I'm like super scared because by turn 2 or 3, they're pushing up with Kenshins and smacking your face. So something I was quite worried about, but since he didn't have any, I thought it'd be okay to kind of play on the back line. Here I drop the Yuna that looks at the top 2 and gives you the option to ditch some and get rid of the song. Then I go into Ubiquitous to go for a search. With that card, if you get another song that's not Ubiquitous or a Yuna, you get to restand an AP, which I do there. Go ahead and play, I forgot what her name was, but if you use a song card, she lets you draw, so pretty cool to kind of keep your hand going. You normally, if you're not careful, you can burn your hand in the song deck, and then things get really difficult to recover from there. Okay, Edgar AP draws and pushes up one of his Sanosuke's, goes ahead and drops a Kenshin on the energy line, and then plays the restand there. That's the event card that I believe if you have a Kenshin, you get to draw it to some other stuff. I totally didn't know what it did. I had to ask him for it, and he just told me that he was going for the draw there. Goes for the restand one more time. And then drops another Sanosuke on the energy line with the Karu on the front. Here I was pretty happy because, like I said, normally when you're playing against Kenshin, like this turn is pretty bad if you don't have anything on the front line to block. So only taking 1 hit there was pretty great for me. I love purple as a card game. Like Bandai always does some pretty neat things with purple, and when I played Digimon I was a purple player, so checking the trash is always like super important, especially in this deck. Trash management is pretty important for you to activate like many of the effects that go off, like the Raid Yuna there. She lets you play a song for free, and then if you have a SAO Survivor on board, you can bot deck 4. So I go ahead and play the Longing for free, and the cool little tidbit is once you do that, you get to restand, so pretty much the Yuna was free. So got the AP back from there after ditching that. Lets me play Smile for You, which is one of the best cards in this deck. So let you grab back any character card, and then you can play SAO Survivor active to your front line. I go and play the Kirito there, and pretty much how he works is as long as you play the song, if you pay an AP, you can kill a 2k body or less, and then you can bot deck 5 cards to kill a 5k or less. So he's pretty important since the special in the deck doesn't allow you to pop. Drop the Yuna that lets you look at the top 2 and either put them back on top of your deck or the bottom. I mainly do that to fill up the trash so that you can activate the other effects. And then go into the Raid Yuna here so that I can get a song card back and then give somebody 1,000. And then once you suspend her once per turn, if you activated a song, all SAO survivors and Yuna get a 1,000 boost. So here I pumped the Kirito and the other Yuna to 5k each. And then I was just explaining to him that when you play Smile for You, the character that gets brought out isn't available to be targeted by character effects. So hit the Raid Sanosuke in life. Luckily my Yuna is at 5k, and get 2 checks in. This is where normally the game against like Kenshin tends to balance out. If they weren't super aggressive like in the beginning, then you tend to have a lot to worry about, so I try to leave a spot open on my energy line. Most of the time, whenever you're going against them, they're smacking all your stuff into your back line because nothing dies. And that's a problem for Song, because your Kirito never dies, so you can't like loop his effect. But the beauty of this matchup is Sanosuke actually kills people, so Kirito dying is actually not so bad here. I think that's the 2 AP drop Sanosuke that has a pretty cool effect where if he gets suspended by either his effect or my effect, he gets to restand, and then he pretty much gets to give somebody impact. So Edgar was kind of explaining that to me. Really good with the Raid Sanosuke there to ensure that he gets like damage 2 plus impact 1. So he goes ahead and specials my Raid Yuna, and then he's swinging for damage 2. I go ahead and take it. I get a no trigger, and then I get the Raid Yuna. One big thing when you're playing the Song deck is like managing your Yunas and making sure that you have a Yuna open to either raid into. If you're trying to go into the other Yuna, depending on what you want to do there. So here, like I was saying, it's nice that he has the Sanosuke, so I was able to smack my Kirito back into the trash so I could loop Smile for you. And I definitely need to do that because the Sanosuke with damage 2 is really scary, considering he has the other Sanosuke that can potentially give him impact 1 and still have a pretty solid swing. So here I'm debating on if I want to move up or not. Definitely don't want to mess myself up with energy as I go forward and like make the plays. You always have to be careful with that deck. Ubiquitous is cool and Songs are cool because you get to restand, but super easy to misplay that and then not have the energy to fully do your play. So once again, Ubiquitous just kind of searches the top 5. I grab a Yuna here, so I'll be able to restand. Really cool thing about the card is like if you're ever missing like a real piece, like sometimes in the deck you don't have the SAO survivors like the Kirito or the Asuna, you can grab them too, you just don't get the restand. Drop the Yuna here so that I can get some filtering and cycling if I need to. The main thing is filling up the trash so I can continuously use the Kirito effect. And that's one thing that you have to be careful with. If you burn through your trash quickly, then Kirito comes out as Nullify Impact, which is great, but you can't pop anything, and that's mainly what you need to do. So this is pretty much what I was talking about. I tried to fill up my trash before, so I wanted to get it to the 5 and then have a comfortable amount of stuff in my trash. And then it might not matter to some people, but it's super important that you stack your stuff in a regular order. If you just drop your cards on the bottom, eventually you tend to cycle through your deck like potentially once or twice during the gameplay. So you want to make sure that you're thinking of like ways that you can potentially use the cards that are coming up, like allowing into a bath or something like that, so that you can get your restand. So Smile for you, Kirito comes out to pop some stuff. Go ahead and use the buff so my people are big. And then I can get the checks in here, get pretty deep into it. And unfortunately for Edgar, he didn't really have any solid triggers. So that's always tough. It's always a good game of luck. Your life either really helps you or it really does nothing for you. Okay, he drops the Sanosuke here. And then he still has his last action. Kenshin finally comes out. Looks like he was hiding pretty much this whole game, which was good for me. Pushes back the Raid Yuna. And he goes ahead and swings, adds hand trigger, the Yuna there, Sanosuke goes off. Definitely want Kirito to die. Like I said earlier, it's good to loop him and be able to kind of go from there. Then he does the swap effect with the Sanosuke so he can get another swing off for 4k. And then that one I can actually block with the Yuna that's there. So trash is pretty full here, which is great for me because I get to continuously loop the same Kirito and then go from there. Here just kind of wanting to make sure I do as much damage as possible. Kenshin gets really scary if you give them chance to breathe, and it's arguably one of the worst matchups. Normally whenever I play this matchup, I've lost to it so many times, more Kenshins are out, and because my Kirito doesn't die, I can't remove people from the board. So Move up the other raid Yuna right into the other Yuna. This is where I get the song for free. Go ahead and play Ubiquitous off to get the search. This is kind of like the cheat code that I pretty much did earlier, where I can make the Yuna pretty much for free. Need to make sure that I can get that Kirito out, pop something on the board, and have the AP available to use the effect. So go into Smile for You for the end, bring Kirito back to my hand, and then play it. Then trigger his effect by paying the AP, and then bot decking 5 cards so I can get rid of that Kenshin with Impact. And then, like I said, just making sure you put the stuff at the bottom of your deck in a specific order is kind of important. I am definitely not smart enough to be like, okay, hey, I'm like 30 cards out from like this specific thing, but you'll notice like a stack of cards that you put in a certain order and you're like, oh, hey, I cycled through my deck. So here I'm figuring out how I can do as much as possible, and I really want to clear his board so that there's not many options left for him to do. His energy line is already kind of tough, but you never know what can happen. So I want to make sure that I do as much pressure as possible here. So I go ahead and use the other raid Yuna's effect to give a SAO survivor double damage and give it to Kirito. The plan here is to swing out with everything because they'll be big from my Yuna pumping them up, so that his board has to get cleared, and then he has to block in a specific way. So swing with the Yuna, she's chilling at 4k. Swing with this Yuna, she's also chilling at around 4k. And then he just decides to take it, since once I swing with those, it'll pretty much get there. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.